Hello everybody, my name is RagingRaptor and I welcome you to a wonderful preview video today. And oh boy, I'm legit right now thinking of converting to the sweet church of RNGesus. Because it looks like our prayers have been heard by wargaming in that sense. And it looks like we are finally getting some changes, rather nerfs, to the broken checked 268 version 4. And by gosh, I'm actually happy that we finally get some nerfs to this ridiculous vehicle. But why exactly is it ridiculous? I think many of you know how hard it is to kill one of those tanks. I'm pretty sure that a lot of you know how ridiculous often these tanks are played in Clan Wars. But what about a 57% win ratio over 97,000 battles on the EU server? That is interesting, and this is in the last 30 days. That's really impressive. You can see the only tanks which are coming close to that is the Object 907 with 25,000 players or games played, and let's be honest, the 907 is two players which are pretty darn good in the game, or decent enough in the game to be decent in the campaign. And well, another tank which is the Object 430U, which is a really strong heavium tank. Obviously Russian. But yeah, finally Wargaming actually found out that their Supertests are trash and, well, this tank needs to be nerfed. The Object 268 version 4, and those are the changes. The most important one is they are doing some changes to its armor model. Those are the effective values from 252 on those polars. They get nerfed down to 232 millimeters, meaning that if we have a look at the armor model of this tank, they will be nerfed down from 250 millimeters of armor to 230 millimeters of armor, meaning that even in 50% of the time, tier 8 tanks should penetrate this spot in 50 to 60% of the time if they hit them. Obviously, don't go for Disco Polar because it's immensely hard to hit, rather go to Disco Polar. And another nice little feature is they are nerfing the lower plate from 236mm effective armor to 201mm of effective armor. Nice! This will most likely be that this lower section here will be nerfed to 90 or even 80mm of effective armor. It's something because, let's be honest, if we have a look right here in my how to penetrate video to the Object 268 on the German channel at least, you can see that penetrating the lower plate with a Czech Tiger 88, which has a decent tier 8 medium tank gun, is nearly impossible. You can see it has 270mm of effective armor. We have almost no hope of penetrating it. We penetrated it once though. If we are loading something like APCR, the effective armor goes up to 232mm and we can keep on forgetting penetrating that thing. With this change here, that will make it a lot easier of penetrating this gosh darn tank. The other things which change though are its mobility. It goes down from 1500 horsepower to 1350 horsepower, which makes the power to weight ratio, which right now sits at a precise and excellently engineered 20, down to an 18. It's something, it's really something, because with 18 it has comparable power to weight ratio like the Foch 155 or the Foch B. If we have a look at those two tanks, you can see 17.8 is pretty darn close to the 18 HP to ton ratio of the changed Object 268 version 4. This right here is a failure. This, you don't need to look at that, that's just wrong. The top speed also gets a little bit nerfed, not the frontal top speed but the backward speed, and gets nerfed down from 22 kilometers per hour to 20 kilometers per hour. That's awesome, because let's be honest, this tank accelerates or is faster backwards than most tier 10. Oh wait, that's not even tier 10 medium tank anymore. 10 medium tanks. okay, that it kind of felt, but many medium tanks have 20 kilometers per hour backward speed, some even less. And this tank actually had 22 to 23 kilometers per hour backward speed, meaning that if you were side by side driving backwards, this tank could simply backwards drive you, which is pretty darn annoying whenever I think about it. And another nice little nerf is the aim time is getting nerfed by 0.3 seconds, which can be a quite long time. You can see it goes up to 2.3 seconds. The reload time, sadly enough, stays the same with its crappy DPM. Overall, I'm happy that they're changing something. This weak spot should go down to 200 millimeters of armor. I do not understand why it needs to be 250 or in that sense 230 millimeters. Why exactly does a tank like where I have it, like Checkpoint 700 for example, has a cupola which is 160 millimeters thick? And why, for example, do tanks like an E4 have a cupola which is 152 millimeters thick? Or Foch-B, which is 150 millimeters thick and 175 respectively. I still don't understand why those weak spots, in quotation marks, needs to be so absolutely broken. At least the lower plate armor will be comparable to the weak spots of the E3. The cupola on E3 is still ridiculously strong, so it's nothing compared to the Object 268 version 4. But I do hope that we can finally see something like an E3 again in the game in Clan Wars rather than the Object 268 version 4, which legit, it makes everything better than the E3 except for the cupola weak spot. But yeah, the other changes which we have are coming to the Object 430 version 2. And those are in preparation of introducing the K91 medium tank, which is like the Russian Leopard 1 in better. Why? 170 meters per 1,700 meters per second shell velocity. But yeah, what did it change? Changes were made to its HP pool, which was 1,700 and now is 1,600. Then we get quite some changes to the armor model, which I think really wargaming. Was it necessary? The tank will lose 40 millimeters of frontal armor. 120 will go down to 80 millimeters, meaning it will be almost always an auto pen hit for tier 8 tanks and plus. The side armor will be changed from 80 millimeters to 60 millimeters. I don't really think this is a big problem. Basically, many people said, oh no, it will kill the side scraping potential of that tank. But let's be honest, this tank, most of the time you can see 200 millimeters. This will only work against tier 8 vehicles. Most of the time you use this side scraping to use the auto bounce angle. So yeah, this is not really big of a deal in my opinion. The bigger deal is that the turret loses a lot. 68 millimeters to be precise. At the moment it has 248 millimeters of frontal turret armor. You can see the cupolas are pretty darn strong. You can play this tank cooldown pretty darn reliably. But Wargaming decides to completely scrap that idea, nerfing the turret to 180 millimeters frontal armor, meaning that those parts will be easily, well, not easily, but rather reliably penetrated by tier 9 and tier 10 vehicles. The side armor of the turret will also get nerfed from 185 millimeters to 120 millimeters, meaning that this part right here will be just 120 millimeters thick. As a compensation, we will get 400 meters of fuel range. Yay! And we get a new gun, the D54, which is at the moment the top gun with its pretty good penetration rate, but crappy accuracy, crappy aim time, crappy DPM. No one really plays it. Why should you when you have this gun, which has better DPM and the same heat shells? Hashtag just unicorn problems with gold ammunition. This gun will be gone and we will get a new gun. Sadly, do we see the penetration? The penetration will stay the same, but the cool things are, as you can see, we will get better DPM. It will be even better than the one on the previous best gun. That's pretty neat. Then you will get a much better accuracy from 0.36 to 0.336. And the aim time goes down almost 1 second. From 2.78 seconds to 1.92. That's a lot, man. That's 0.86 seconds faster aim time. To that you can see you have better bloom on the after firing, better, or like the bloom in the sense better, it's much smaller while driving, while shooting, while being on the move, which is absolutely fantastic when you want to go quickly into a position and do your sniping biddings. And this is also something which the Leopard 1 could theoretically use, a little bit of love for moving accuracy. And yes, the Object 140 has a lot better values, but they are roughly comparable. Object 140 is still better with 0.08, and we have 0.1.15. So it's still not too bad, but it's decent enough. I think if we look closely enough, we should find a tank we can compare it to. Roughly, the one of the T62A is a little bit smaller. The Procede is worse. Well, it also has crappy accuracy. It's on par with the Object 430U. There we go. And well, those are the proposed stats changes. Nothing changed to the gun depression angles. Nothing changed to the penetration values, just aim time and accuracy and DPM buff. So basically, this gun will be worth a lot more than it used to be. And you can see that Wargaming really wants to change the focus from this brawlish side-scraping medium to a sniper medium. We will see how this pans out. I think this update will come around the Gamescom, or will be introduced in Gamescom. Let's be honest, it's only 3 months till Gamescom is upon us. And my finals. But yeah, what do you think of the changes? Did you also finally convert it to the Church of RNGesus and praise Serbi or Wargaming for nerfing the Object 268 version 4? Or do you think the nerfs should be a little bit more? In my opinion, the weak spots need to be nerfed slightly more, so also tier 8 vehicles have a decent time penetrating it and don't need to spam gold only. Thank you all so much for watching and have a great day. Bye bye.